Hi, welcome to this week's edition of Live Well with Barrie. As you know, it is a show about inspirational people coming to spread and share their stories with us and obviously trying to make us better people. This week we have Tasha.
Hi.
Of Uptown Yardie shoes and lifestyle brand. Thank you for coming. I want a hug, please.
Oh, okay.
A hug and a kiss. You know I'm very touchy-feely, right? Okay. Lovely to have you with us. Now, obviously, hubby couldn't come today.
No, and he's really sorry about that.
And so he should. But we'll get him in at a later date. So tell me about the brand.
Okay. So, gosh, where to start? We've been going
at the beginning
for about 2.5 years.
Right.
So, as you said, Uptown Yardie is a shoe and a lifestyle brand.
Yeah.
But it goes way back to before the name. So, Rowan, my husband, he's a trained shoe designer, a shoemaker. Okay. He actually went to the London College of Fashion's cordwainers. And so he started designing shoes probably about 25 years ago or more.
Right.
At one point, he had his own shop in Notting Hill, and he primarily made, he made only
And what was the
shoes.
brand called then?
It was called The Soul of a Woman by Rowan Clarke. Yeah. And we still get people who come up to him in the streets and say, I've still got your pair of shoes that I bought in Notting Hill. But he's such a, so non-assuming. He's like, okay, thank you. He's a very sort of humble
He
person.
is. I've had the pleasure of meeting him, and he's very...
Yeah, and he's very shy.
Yeah, very shy.
Very shy, yeah. So, so he did that for a number of years and then got a bit disheartened with the industry because, you know, he is quite humble. He's very creative. He's not really into the business side.
As most people, creatives are not really into the business side. They usually need help with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then along came me, who met him.
Isn't she wonderful? I mean, the hat, the glasses, the everything. It's just wonderful.
Yeah. Along came me and encouraged him to really get back into it.
So how did you all meet?
We were set up on a blind date and yeah.
Really?
I wasn't looking for a man. And so it's a really weird, well, it's quite a funny story. I was single and I went out at lunchtime on Valentine's Day, looking for something to eat, went into a restaurant and, not that I had forgotten it was Valentine's Day, but I kind of thought, I'm hungry, so I want to eat. Got into the restaurant and it was quite empty. There were a few couples around. And so the woman said to me, oh, you can sit anywhere. So I went to sit down and then her manager whispered in her ear, she said, oh, I'm really sorry, that's where the couples are going to be sitting. So...
Yeah,
obviously I want a
just
couple.
put the boot in. You know what I mean? I'm here on my own, and you're going to tell me, "Oh no, don't sit here," because the couples are going to sit there. The lonely people that no one cares about will sit over there. That's where we'll place you.
That's right. Yeah, something like that. So I suddenly realised how single I was. So I wrote a Facebook status whilst I was crying into my suit. No, I wasn't crying into my suit.
I can't imagine you crying into your suit.
Well, exactly.
Not in a hat like that.
So I wrote a Facebook status saying, oh, you know, note to self, don't take yourself to lunch by yourself on Valentine's Day. Right. But, you know, in jest. And then Rowan's cousin, who is actually a really good friend of mine, saw it. And he rang me up and he's like, are you okay? I'm really upset. Are you upset? You know, actually he left me a message, this long message, and he said, call me. There's something I want to talk to you about. So I rang him. It's like, I saw your status and, you know, there's someone that I'd like you to meet. And I was like, really? I said, nah, I'm not really interested. And actually at the time, before I met Rowan, I was thinking of moving to Brooklyn, because Brooklyn is like my second home. I used to go there.
Yes, I know you go there a lot.
So I had no intentions of, I had my daughter, my cat, and my plans to go to Brooklyn. And so I was like, yeah, I'm not really interested. Oh, he's really nice. He's my cousin. He's creative. He makes shoes. I was like, here's my number.
Now you have to understand the relevance of this. Tasha, you've heard of Imelda Marcos? Okay, she puts her to shame.
Oh, it's not
Puts her
that
to
bad.
shame. So I think that was the magnet bit when he said shoes.
Well, a little bit. I was a bit curious. Right?
Okay.
So anyway, and then after I gave him my number, his cousin Al, I suddenly realised I didn't know if I wasn't really interested.
Sure, if you'd done the right thing.
And he also gave me his number, and he said, "Oh, he said that you can call him." And I thought, "What? But I'm not interested. Why do I have to be the one that makes the call?" Anyway, I called him. It went through to his voicemail. He called me. It went through to my voicemail, and we kept doing this for about a week. And then I said to Al, "I'm going to be away with work," which I really wasn't, but I just was trying to avoid it. And then he left me a message saying, "Look, I know that Al wants us to meet, but if you're not feeling it, it's absolutely fine. You go with what you feel comfortable with." And that broke the ice for me. I was like, I really need to meet this guy because the pressure was off.
Because he's so cool about it.
Yeah. So we talked on the phone for about 5 hours the first time that we talked. Then we met up in Spitalfield Market. We went for lunch. I think it was the 9th of March. I remember
And this
that.
was the first time you were actually seeing each other in
Yeah.
person.
And the thing is, Rowan never did social media before Uptown Yardie.
So you couldn't even
So
find
I
him.
had no pictures of
Yeah,
him.
you couldn't even
nothing.
find him.
I told him that he had to give me a picture
Okay.
before we met because he might look like Quasimodo. And no disrespect, but I'm not looking for him.
Okay.
But I did say to him, we could be friends. Let's meet up and see what happens. Women do that, right? So if women say to you, well, let's just see how it goes. At least we'll make a friend.
Yeah.
That's your kind of get out clause.
I hope you're all taking this on board. Okay, these are the tricks of the trade here.
Yeah, so anyway, we met up. We got on really well. It was a really warm day for the 9th of March. I remember that. And I told him that I was going to be wearing yellow brogues. So when we finished the date, and I was rushing back to get my train from Liverpool Street, he handed me a bag. And inside the bag, he had these little yellow booties. He'd made me a mixtape, well, a CD, and he'd given me a card which said, "Thank you for being so beautifully you." And I think I was just hooked. It was just so simple, but it was just so
That's the way to do it. As I say, less is more.
Yeah, and then...
But I mean, to make a pair of yellow brogues because you told him, well, I mean, it's like the equivalent of a red carnation, isn't it? I'm wearing yellow brogues, that's how he can find you and identify you. But for him to take the interest and the time to make the brogues, that's something special.
Yeah, it was really nice. And we were engaged within 4 months of knowing each other, and we got married last year.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, you were there.
I was there. But I mean, so your business is what? What is your job?
Oh, besides Uptown Yardie?
Yes, because I know you work together now, but obviously you had separate careers.
Yeah, I was not in the fashion or shoe industry at all. My other job is I'm a diversity consultant.
Okay.
So I actually, I travel quite a lot around the UK and abroad, working with mostly corporates, with leaders, getting them to appreciate and understand why diversity is important for business.
Right.
So not just a nice to have, an essential to have.
Right.
Because
you've just come back from, where is it?
Stockholm.
Stockholm.
Which took me 2 days of travel for an hour presentation. But it's all good. I think I made an effect.
Well, that's it. I mean, you left a good impression with them.
Yeah, so that's my other business.
So really your kind of business side is what helps the Uptown Yardie company, because obviously he's the creative and you help more with the business side.
Absolutely. So I do the stuff like the business planning, looking for funding, looking for opportunities for kind of product placement. But the more that we've been together, the more I've got involved in design, in colours, and he involves me in that.
Well, yeah, because he'll obviously he knows you've got good taste, so he'll say, well, what's your opinion on this? So I'm thinking of doing this, what do you think?
And I've always had a creative side to me anyway, so I have a third business where I do
Look
interiors.
at that hat. Of course she has a creative side.
Yeah. So, it's always been...
So you have a third business?
Yeah, I have an interiors little sideline.
Okay, so that makes what kind of stuff? Cushions?
So, it's more about interior design.
Okay.
So I've just finished doing some work with a client where I've designed some of his house, so several of his rooms. I project managed our.
Well, I mean, this kitchen extension is another house in itself, isn't it?
And actually, it's a wonderful space where we live because we work from it. It's our studio. If you ever see the yellow floor in the pictures, that's the floor of
the kitchen. Yeah.
We have business meetings in there. It's a really amazing
You probably
space.
use there more than anywhere else in the house.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We spend, I'd say, about 90% of our time in that room creating different things for Uptown Yardie.
So him creating the shoes and so the lifestyle part of the Uptown Yardie brand is you doing the interiors, is it?
No, that's something completely different. But the lifestyle part of the brand is that we also make clothing, bags.
Right. Okay.
I mean, our idea is to evolve the two businesses. So mine around interiors and also Uptown Yardie around the shoes and the clothing and the bags.
But how fantastic is that it's a husband and wife team that are really working together for progression. Yeah. Hand in hand, not one dragging the other saying, come on, we want to try and do this. And it really is arm in arm, hand in hand, and you're walking in the same direction.
It genuinely works really well. I mean, that doesn't mean that we always agree.
Well, of course not.
But we have really healthy debates about things.
And come to healthy conclusions.
Yeah, we come to healthy conclusions. And we both support each other.
That's the most important part. So, you've really got each other's interests at heart, personally, professionally. Yeah. So whatever you say, it is with great and good intent. Yeah. It's not,
Absolutely. And
it's not ego-driven or, well, I want to have my way. It really is about what's best for you and the project.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when we first started, because I say Ron is very shy, he didn't want to be the face of the business. And it certainly wasn't my intention. Right. It was let the shoes do the talking. Yeah. But, social media is a big part of promoting your brand. And people want to see, when it's a small business, the face behind
the brand.
The brand. And I know that they love, because we get comments on the fact that we're a husband and wife team and that we're a black husband and wife team. Yeah. It
is pretty special. Husband and wife team really working together. I love that idea. Yeah. Now these shoes here are his original Soul of a Woman, right?
So these were ones that he did some years back, and they're the only ones that are around.
Kick up, let's see these shoes. There we go. Note the socks.
Yeah, Barry said take the socks off, and I said no.
That's very much a part of Tasha's socks. I've forgotten that.
Yeah. So as I said, he started doing mostly, all women's shoes and high heel shoes. And the progression into the kind of the brogues was really about something that was more unisex and very different. He had those designs for years and did nothing with them.
Didn't do anything with them.
And to me, it just shows how classic the designs are, because the brogue is classic.
It's a classic brand. No one owns a brogue design. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those templates that's out there for everybody forever.
Absolutely.
And it's just you tweaking it and making it individual, which he's really done.
Yeah, he's done stuff like, putting a trainer sole or a DM sole onto, a classic brogue, changing the colours, adding quilties that change the look, all sorts of things that make it individual, because for us, it is always about that individuality, and we're very much influenced by our Jamaican heritage, right? Which is what, reclaiming that name Yardie, because, Yardie has had really negative connotation. Yeah. But for us, the word yard means home.
Home, exactly.
And, the brand is an and a brand which is more of an upmarket brand. So to call it Uptown Yardie to us kind of epitomised what the style was about.
Because when we say uptown, that means, dress up, uptown, exactly what it is.
And if you think about the Caribbean, and for us about Jamaicans, it talks to how when our parents came over, not very much, but dressed from head to toe, right?
Absolutely.
And that we very much take that inspiration in terms of what we do. So it's always about good quality stuff, but individuality.
Now, I know you're originally a Hackney girl.
That's right.
I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud of it. Yeah. So you grew up in Hackney.
Yes.
And what was your journey with your career into where you were in consultancy?
I suppose, so I grew up on a council estate in Hackney,
Okay.
so not one of the posher parts. But quite interesting now that where I grew up, there's a road called Chatsworth Road, and I remember having to sit in the laundrette, because we couldn't afford a washing machine, sit in the laundrette with my mum, bored. And now that laundrette serves like filter coffee and shows films. Really bizarre. But yeah, I grew up in the poorer side of Hackney.
Right.
On a council estate. I went to university, which was quite unusual for people that I grew up with, to, you know, on a estate to go. And I went to a place called Pontypridd.
In Wales?
Yeah. The valleys.
Yes.
Can you imagine a Hackney girl in the valley? You know, they say the only black in the village.
Yeah, literally. Well, just say you're cosmopolitan. That's it.
That's
you know, you're
right, it
exotic
was.
and cosmopolitan.
It was a real kind of cultural shock to my system, because I was used to noise and dirt and grime.
Quiet peace,
hills,
fresh air.
sheep.
Yeah.
So it took a while to get used to it. So yeah, I went.
But now as an adult, do you value it, or?
I do, although I had to move into Cardiff and travel in just to get a little bit of city grime. And
Really?
I lived in Tiger Bay.
All right.
I lived in Tiger
Shirley
Bay.
Bassey's.
Yeah, in a sublet illegal flat. But hey ho.
That was then. This is now.
That was then, this now. And yeah, and I remember we used to have a man who came around with videos that you used to, like the then day Blockbuster. And he'd ring a bell and you'd come downstairs and you'd pick your film.
Okay.
And because I was in Hackney, I came with my ID, you know, and my money. And he's like, no. Next time you come and you bring back the film, then we'll take the money. And I was like,
that was a culture shock for you.
But everybody knows everybody.
Everybody out there, that's it.
Yeah, so I did appreciate it, and it was a real good kind of learning in terms of independence, a different culture. So yeah, I did that. I then went to work for the council. I worked in a hate crime unit. Yeah, so I worked 15 years with domestic violence, racial harassment, homophobic kind of attacks, that sort of stuff, supporting people. So I got to the point where I was running the service.
Right.
And I was doing a lot of presentation, a lot of training with multi-agencies. And I really liked that, but I couldn't do it very much because of my seniority.
Okay.
I was more involved in managing the whole project. And so I moved out of Hackney, went to work for a consultancy.
And then thought, I can do this for me.
And I could do it for myself. And I thought, at some point, you've got to do it for yourself. And I did that 5 years ago.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, as recently as that?
Yeah. It got to a point, I was made redundant from a project that I was running for the mayor, actually. And I thought, if I don't do it now...
I'll never do it.
Yeah, and I'll regret it.
Yeah. Did it take a long time to develop the company?
Not really, because I had a lot of contacts. And I'd say to anyone starting off business, think about your contacts and your network. Literally, this is what white middle-class people do all the time.
Yeah.
It's the old boys network, it's who you know.
That's right.
And I wasn't asking...
And those are the people that you draw on to develop your...
Absolutely.
They're always your first port of call.
Yeah, and
you
it
know
wasn't
what I mean?
that I wanted a job for nothing. I wanted opportunities to get through the door, to show I had the skills. And I wasn't afraid to ask for those opportunities. And yeah, I got... So it was through my connections, I started up the business, word of mouth. A lot of my work is through word of mouth, or from clients asking me to come back again. So, yeah. It's not easy working for yourself.
It isn't. It is a big risk.
I wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah, you know, you really plan your life, and you know, as I say, money is like the tide when you work for yourself. Sometimes it's in, and unfortunately, most of the time it's out. But you know, it comes in and out like the tide.
But it's given me having my own other business. Means I can have time to spend on developing Uptown Yardie, which is, I'm both passionate about
you make your own schedule,
those.
so
yeah. I'm passionate about both of those things, but having something to work with your husband, and he's an amazing designer.
He is,
really
and great artist.
Yeah, he is a great artist.
And great artist as well. But we'll get him in another time, and he's got to come in with that work because it is amazing. I've seen in exhibitions and stuff.
I remember when I first started talking to him, and he sent me by email a picture that because he works with pencil. And I thought, where's he taking this from? Whose work is this? And it was like his. And he's just, and I don't say that because he's my husband. Yeah. He's an absolutely phenomenal
I've seen the way he uses
artist.
A pencil. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's like paint.
Yeah.
It's like paint or ink even. So about you, when did you become a conscious sister with those locks?
I told you I was conscious.
When did you decide to grow the locks?
I decided to grow the locks. I'd stopped, I'd been relaxing my hair since I was probably about 11.
Yeah. And you had a lot of hair.
Yeah, I had a lot of hair. And, you know, it was the kind of the done thing. You get to a certain age, you relax your hair. And I did that until I was about in my mid-30s.
Okay.
And I was just, I just didn't like the look of it. I just thought it was very lackluster. I wanted to go back natural, but I've always wanted to go for locks. So I decided by the time I hit 40,
you'd have a head of locks.
I would have locks. So on my, on the 16th of May, in the year that I turned 40, I went and got my locks done for the first time.
So what was the transition from the relax? You had to cut it all off. And did you have short hair or what?
I didn't actually, because I didn't want to get rid of my hair. I had been growing out my hair for about a year and a half, so I had quite a lot of natural hair. I also had a lot of straggly
bits that would relax around the end, right?
Which I would say anyone who's starting locks, just cut it off and start from the beginning. Because when I finally did locks my hair, I had lots of little rat's tails hanging off the end that was still quite straight.
Yeah.
And over time, I just cut them off.
Right.
And I'd say it takes a good year for your hair to settle in. And it's usually the time where people give up because it doesn't look like this in the first year. And
because it's that untidy in-between stage that you can't really do anything with it.
Kind of very, it just hangs. And my hair is quite straight, it's quite fine.
Naturally.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so it wouldn't, if you palm rolled it or twisted it, within a day
it would unwind.
I could still take out my hair if I wanted to. It still hasn't really...
bound.
Yeah.
So how long has it taken you to grow this?
So how old am I now? 48. 8 years.
8 year.
Yeah.
And doesn't it get heavy though? Do you feel it heavy?
Very heavy. So I often wear it sort of wrapped up on the top of my head and I can feel like my neck is about to snap sometimes. So I don't do it that often anymore. Yeah, it is really heavy.
And to wash it when it's full of water.
Yeah.
It must be really
it does
neck breaking,
it does take
literally.
a while. Sometimes Ryan washes it for me.
Right.
And I'll wash his hair.
See, that's the perfect husband. She has the perfect husband. Designer, washes her hair and makes her shoes.
There you go.
What else do you need? What else do you... So talk me through these now.
Okay. So this one and this one is part of a new project, which I'm really proud about, actually. It's called Uptown Yardie, Jamaica.
Okay.
And for a few years now, we've been talking about making a shoe, doing something in Jamaica.
Right.
Giving back to Jamaica, investing in Jamaica.
Because Rowan's Jamaican parentage and you're Jamaican St. Lucian, right?
That's right.
Okay.
And as I say, the inspiration for us is a lot about our Jamaican heritage. And about a year and a half ago, 2 years, Rowan met Mr. Clarke without the E, because Rowan is Mr. Clarke with the E, of Clarke Shoes at the V&A Museum, where they were doing a talk, where they were launching a book about the association with Clarks and Jamaica.
Right.
And we started to he had a discussion with him, because when Rowan first left Cordwainers, his first job was at Clark's. So it seemed to come around in a
full circle.
Full circle. So they started talking. He wanted Rowan to work on a project in Africa. Rowan talked to him about working on something, a shoe for Jamaica. For various reasons, it didn't happen. And we were talking to the High Commission and to JAMPRO, and they said, look, you're a shoe designer.
Just design them.
Design them. We already had our own, a desert boot called the Yardie boot, which does really well over here.
Right.
So they found us a factory in Jamaica, which we've been working with and developing the Yardie boot for the last year. And these are two of the
These are two of
prototypes
them.
that actually come out of the factory in Jamaica.
I like the little detail here, which has got the flag colours.
Yeah.
The black,
Yeah.
yellow, and green.
And also and they'll be sold with different soles on them. So a sports sole.
So this is a
or
crepe.
the crepe sole,
Yeah.
which is
Crepe
the
sole, yeah.
the usual sole.
So that's the crepe sole.
Yeah.
And
so that
this is, let me see this one. Okay.
So that's the trainer sole.
Trainer sole.
Yeah.
And again, there's more color detail here.
Yeah.
The black, gold, and green.
And this factory has never made this kind of shoe before. They make shoes for the army.
Right.
So it was with our patterning and Rowan's direction that they made the first prototype. So they'll be launched. We showed a prototype earlier this year on social media, and it went crazy. I mean, people were like, "We want to buy it. I want to buy it. Where can I buy it?" And we're like, "It's not ready. It's just." So we know it's going to be amazing.
It'll be, yeah.
And for us, the pride is to have something made in Jamaica by Jamaicans.
Yeah.
Rather
than made somewhere else, imported there for them to spend their money on at 3 times the price.
And an affordable price, plus a product that they can then export across the world as well. We've been working quite a lot on that.
Yeah, you see, well, that's actually bringing money back into the country.
Yeah. And that was the idea. I mean, of course,
rather than just making, obviously you're in a business, you want to make money, but there's also that putting something back into the country.
And for us, we could make this boot anywhere. You could make it in India for cheaper. But
much cheaper, yeah.
But that wasn't the point. Because our aim eventually is to train up local people.
Right.
Because we think this is going to be a massive product. So to train them up in pattern making, in shoe manufacturing, design.
So that they can actually have an industry of their own.
Absolutely.
Because they're struggling with industry out there right now.
And so it can be sustainable.
Yeah.
And it's a great model. So we're about to launch a crowdfunder actually to help us to make that sustainable.
Right. Okay.
We've invested quite a lot of our money into it, and we just need an extra push to get the product.
Extra. Hey, that crowdfunding, we'll get the details in a minute.
Yeah.
Now, this one.
Yeah, that's called the rocker.
This is so cute.
So this is an up-to-date version of what we called our retwisted and remixed monkey boot.
I was going to say, it looks familiar. That's something I've seen before.
Yeah.
That's exactly
so
the monkey boot.
Rowan took off the first kind of stage of that. The first ones that we sold were monkey boots where he remixed and twisted it and added a trainer sole. And they sold really well. So we then wanted to create our own Uptown Yardie monkey boot, which we call the rocker. And so this is a limited edition one. We only made a very few of these, and every single one that's sold is signed by us and numbered. Okay,
so this is number 5.
Yeah.
And there's the signature on the front, is it?
No, we will actually physically sign it before they go out. But this one...
And I like the little camouflage detail.
Yeah.
That's really cute.
Yeah.
It's the attention to detail that makes a shoe special.
And the thing with Rowan is he is very attention to detail.
Yeah.
You don't need to have these little tags on here or the Uptown Yardie logo on there, but he's very much about attention.
Yes, it's the attention to detail that makes it special.
This is the same boot, but this comes in black and in antique brown, and there's more of these available.
So is this black?
Yeah, that's black.
Wow, it looks like, in this light, it looks like a petrol-y blue.
Yeah, it does in this light, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But it's actually black.
Oh, this is so cute.
Yeah. It's called the rocker. And everything, all the names of the shoes are significant either to our Jamaican heritage or to our families as well. Yeah.
What else is over there?
Okay, so this is called
now these are special. I love these. So this is...
So actually, these two shoes...
That's right.
Are exactly the same.
Yeah.
But they look very different because they've got different soles.
Different colours,
and different colours.
this is working on a kind of a spat.
Yeah.
With the two colors.
Yeah.
And this is plain black.
Yeah. And it's called the classic because it is a classic brogue.
Yes.
And this has been customized by Rowan.
Yeah.
And
Very
all of
stylish.
these shoes are made in Northampton.
Okay.
And Northampton is kind of the centre of the British shoe industry.
The kiltie is detachable. You can take it off. You can wear with or without.
Yeah. On this one, this is a customized shoe.
Right.
So the kiltie isn't detachable.
Right.
But on this one, yeah, it is.
Okay.
And they all come.
Oh, yes, I see the difference now.
They're all...
But look at that. That's so cool.
Yeah.
And a variation of a brogue.
Yeah.
Making it a bit more stylish.
And can you imagine that these are exactly the same shoe? They're just different colours and a different sole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely. So tell me about the crowdfunding.
So the crowdfunder, which starts on the 5th of November.
Okay, that's soon.
Yeah, runs for 4 weeks.
Right.
Is really about that we are passionate about investing in Jamaica and making Uptown Yardie Jamaica a success.
Right.
And we need the support. We always talk about it takes a village.
It does.
We need the support of people who think this is a good product and idea to help us to do that. So we need the funds to do that. And those funds will help in terms of equipping the factory to get ready for its first orders.
Right.
To do proper marketing and promotions. Because we're not marketing or promotion people.
Nope.
And we want this to be a global product.
Right.
So to get that out, we need to get the right people with that expertise.
And that
to
will
be able
cost
to do
money.
That. Getting to trade shows.
Because you've got to have your proper team of people that know where to place things, what needs to be done in order to get the product to a certain level.
If you think of big shoe brands, you don't have two people doing everything. For those brands to be successful, they need to bring in the right sorts of expertise.
Yeah.
So,
will cost.
All of that will cost to do that.
So how far are you away from your financial goal?
Well, the crowdfunder is for £21,000.
Okay.
That would do it. And we worked out, we're really rubbish at maths, right? But we worked out if we got over 2,000 people, just over 2,000 people, to donate as little as £10.
Right.
We would make a goal.
That's right.
And that to me feels a bit more doable. If you say you don't have, if you can donate at least £10, we would get there. And with this crowdfunder that we're doing, any money that is donated, we actually get. As opposed to you have to reach the target.
Administration and all that. And then
some crowdfunders, if you don't reach the 21,000, you don't get any of the money.
So where does it go then?
It just goes back.
Back to the people that donated it.
Yeah.
I see.
Because the money doesn't actually come to us until the end of the campaign.
How long does the campaign last?
It's going to last for 4 weeks.
Right.
And we've got some incentives, so we're giving away things. So, if you donate £30, then you get one of our... We do T-shirts. You get a T-shirt. If you donate £50, we've done these customised Uptown Yardie bags.
Okay.
£100 and etc.
Yeah.
So there are lots of different incentives as well, just to show our appreciation.
Thanks and appreciation. Yeah.
But the key thing for us is that we truly believe that this is a great thing to do, and to put Jamaica on the map.
Yeah, because it's been struggling with industry for a long while. It's, as you notice, everything's been coming out of the country, importing everything. Yeah. So it's great that you're actually doing something that they're going to have an industry there developing stuff. Yeah,
and to think about, and Rowan and I always talk about sustainability.
Yeah.
So to be able to train up young people so they become part of that shoe industry.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's the sustainability that goes on from generation to generation, that they can stand on their own 2 feet, not just put some money in their hand and it disappears.
Yeah. And for us, our parents came over here primarily to be able to send money back to make things better, or to make enough money to go back and invest and have businesses abroad. No, not all of them, unfortunately, could do that because, you know, life was kind of a lot harder over here than we expected. And we really want to do that. We want to go back
Well, it
and
was
build that
when they
legacy.
came, it was not what they expected at
No.
all because it was not what they were told.
Yeah,
So, you know,
exactly.
they were told a completely different story
Yeah.
and then realized, well, actually, that's not the truth at all.
Yeah, exactly.
So what they thought they were coming to and were going to achieve, a lot of them fell short,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, just about enough money to survive on, much less
Yeah.
to send back.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we love Jamaica.
And so you should.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
it's a
nice to see the
beautiful
younger
country.
generation actually taking an interest in their heritage and where their parents came from, because you and I both know that a lot of people are not interested in going back to where their parents came from or seeing where their parents came from. So it's nice to see that you're that interested to actually want to develop an industry there.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. It's always been something, as long as I've known Rowan and we've talked about it, it's always been something that we've said we definitely want to
do something
there.
So you are such a busy girl, because you've told me now from what you said, she's got about 6 jobs, it seems, right? So she's got Uptown Yardie, but she do the business side. Now you're kind of being brought into the design side.
Yeah.
Your own home brand, which is designing.
So it's called Until Lemons Are Sweet.
That's right. I remember, because that was when this whole extension was being done.
Yeah.
And what else is there? Your consultancy business.
My consultancy business.
Right.
Yeah.
So what does Tasha do to actually find calm in her life? What does she do to look after herself?
I wish I knew. So I used to religiously every Tuesday morning go to my yoga class with my yoga teacher, Hayley. And I'd feel so much better for that hour and a half. To try and switch. I find it really difficult to switch off.
Yeah.
And I'm one of these people, a lot of people in business, when you're passionate about something, you feel really guilty if you stop thinking about it. Excuse me. So I could be thinking about business till 10, 11 o'clock at night, and then I stop to sit down. I think, this is really bad. Should I be sitting down?
Yeah. Or should I still be thinking?
Or should I still be thinking or planning? Because you could be. But I realised you actually need to take care of yourself before you can take care of business.
Question, you have to take care of yourself to take care of anything else. If you're not on top form, nothing else that you're doing can be, because eventually you just grind yourself into the ground and everything comes to a stop.
Exactly. But I've been very naughty and I haven't been going to yoga for a while.
Okay.
I have said to Rome recently that
Are you feeling any negative effects from not going?
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
I've got quite severe asthma anyway.
Okay.
And so the yoga really helps that.
Oh, it's because it's a lot about breathing as well.
Yeah,
not
breathing
just
and posture and stuff like that. So yeah, I feel that I'm less fit and able, and mentally it helps.
So is it that
relax.
you haven't had the time, or you just thought, you know what, I'm so exhausted, I just can't go?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Right.
However, I can make time for other things, so I'm sure I could make time.
She makes time for lobster.
But not enough
But not
recently.
for a while, I have to say.
Yeah, exactly. No, we have to do that soon. I just need to get I'm not at the right balance at the moment, but I'm loving what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So it's not like, I have to get up and I have to go.
So drag yourself there. You're actually enthusiastic about what you're doing and the work you're doing. So are you one of those that you go to bed and then you wake up at 3 o'clock and your mind's going?
Sometimes, or I'm going to bed at 3 o'clock.
And by 4 your mind's going.
And because we have a space, which is such a nice space to create, it's very hard to move away. So we eat dinner and then we go back to work. And then I'll say, look, we need to stop. No, it's like 11 o'clock. And then we'll stop. Or Rome will go and draw as well, because he's got a studio at home where he draws. And then I'll go and sit down. And then I feel a little bit like, shouldn't I be doing something? So I really need to work on
that guilt complex.
It's silly. It's not. He doesn't make me feel that way. No one.
It's in you.
It's me that needs to be. It's okay to sit down and watch some trashy TV.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, you need to do something to relax yourself and recoup your energy.
Because being part of Uptown Yardie is 24/7. I mean, even going to the supermarket, I sometimes have to wear my hat, you know. No, not really.
She's not joking, yeah? She's pretending she's joking, but
we
she's
went
not
to the
joking.
supermarket a couple of months ago in just kind of dress down clothes, because you go into the supermarket. And someone said, aren't you Uptown Yardie? And I thought, Rowan, you have to make sure the next time we go.
That we have to dress the part. You never know who you're going to bump into.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
true.
Because you forget that you are the brand. So when it still surprises me when people come up to me and they say, Uptown Yardie, and I think, my name's Natasha, not Uptown. Oh yeah,
I forgot about that.
Yeah. But it's all good. I'm not complaining. It's just when you're not used to being in front of something and so public, and we are very private people.
Yeah, but you see, the thing is social media as well. It's everywhere now. So, you've got people coming up to you that you've never seen before in your life and going, you're Tasha, aren't you? Or you're Barry Thomas, aren't you? And I'm thinking, yes, I am. Who the hell do you do? I need to call the police.
Exactly. Yeah, it does take. I mean, with my consultancy business, over the years, I've trained thousands and thousands of people. Yeah. And there's only one me. Yeah. And they'll come up to you like, oh, hi, Tasha. I don't know
don't
who
remember
you are.
you.
But then I say to them, you saw one of me. Yeah. I've seen thousands of
you.
people.
So please bear with me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the same with Uptown Yardie, because people will follow us on social media and they're like, oh, I love your brand. I follow you. And I'm like, okay. There's about 4,000 people that follow us. I really am appreciative, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's just how it is.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming.
Thanks for the invite.
Lovely. A lot of information that we didn't know. Nice to know about the person behind the brand, which is what I think is important, because everybody sees the public persona. Yeah. But it's actually nice to find out something about the person and show, well, you know what, they're human. They're just like you.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And, they may have come from humble beginnings, but they've achieved, and so can you, which is what this is all about. It's about the inspirational stuff. So thank you. Can I have another touchy feel? I'm touchy feel. Thanks, sweetheart. Much appreciated.
You're welcome.
Lovely to see you. Thanks for joining us yet again, and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye.